It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Wanna be held tight? Well, now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have them some fun, cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT. Hubba, 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 heat of the night on TNT. Yeah.
My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty!
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Hey, welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat. I'm old Alan Autry. So honored and humbled to have you with us today. We're coming out hot because if this were a boxing match or a card, we'd say we got a stacked card today. We got a lot of stories going on. Guillermo Moreno's with me, Triple G. After you kind of, well, they got ghosted me.
Was it Friday?
Look, you're getting these young terminology terms.
Yeah, when you were just
ghosted.
When you were dissing me, I didn't know you were ghosting me. Ghosted you all out there. But he texted me and said, "Hey, I'm sorry. No, Guillermo had something very important to do," as if you guys aren't important.
Oh, you're very important.
And but he said, "Hey, I'm gonna be there Monday," and I said, "Come on in." Hey, breaking news. We're going to get right to it.
I'm over here texting someone right now.
You want to start with our local bombshell?
Yeah, this broke about 12 minutes ago here. Fresno City Council member charged with felony over alleged extortion. Fresno City Council President Nelson Esparza has been charged with the felony count of extortion.
Ouch.
The Fresno County DA's office announced today.
Double ouch.
Yeah, Esparza is accused of threatening the employment of former City Attorney Doug Sloan, which we know. And it looks like if convicted, he faces up to 3 years in state prison, the DA's office said. Sloan left the city attorney job for one in Santa Monica. Esparza also faces a count of violating the Fresno City Charter. The extortion one's much worse than the other one. But, I mean, this is very serious. Felony count of extortion, 3 years.
You know, I'm really big on not convicting somebody in the media or otherwise until the due process. You're innocent until proven guilty. But we talked on the show several times about the way this council has been conducting themselves. I'm not going to mention in particular names or that sort of thing, but just the pushing of the envelope in these sorts of directions, reckless behind closed door session things. There's a litany of accusations. Of course, Gary Bredefeld, local councilman, have been bringing this stuff up for a long time. I think he monikered them the four councilmen, the Gang of Four.
Yeah.
And Gary's a very passionate, outspoken, and some people have other names for him, depending on what side of the fence you're on. But in general, he usually has something of substance to go with.
Sure. Absolutely.
He just doesn't grab charges like this out of the thin air. He's a smart guy. So what's your? It's a sad day, but I tell you,
it really is.
And again, I'm not being judgmental on this case of Nelson. I've met him several times. He seemed to be a pleasant guy. It's just. And take this right here, folks, here locally. It's not a loaded question. I'm not trying to be coy. But this doesn't surprise me.
Agreed.
And if it wasn't going to be Nelson, somebody else. There's just stuff going on at that city hall behind those closed doors on a myriad.
Mm-hmm. Well said. I'm surprised it took this long, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying that as
you've been on your show.
It's about, no. And you hit on something very, very important, because I think the listeners have, and I'm not trying to tout ourselves, but the listeners get a really special show at noon because you have city council experience. You've been there. You've been an elected executive. I have zero experience in anything besides talking behind a mic and giving my opinion, for several years. So they really get to hear both sides. And in my business, on Opinion Talk, conservative radio, we're like, oh man, we told you this was going to happen. He's guilty as charged. And that's what everyone in the media does. You look at the January 6th, you look at CNN. So it's really important that you say, hey, it's a sad day, because it is. We shouldn't be spiking the football. Nobody should be spiking the football. Some things were said, the law might have, and remember, it's alleged, the law might have been broken. But let me take it back a little bit, because, and you're the expert on this, the times have changed.
I'm just an expert on building lakes downtown.
There you go. Clearly.
Go ahead.
Clear lake. But times have changed behind doors at City Hall, correct? When you were there, I felt that your tenure, and even after, even during Ashley's tenure, it was about conducting city business. The external national politics didn't infect the local arena. And this is not just Fresno. I think this is every big city now throughout the United States. Politics is different. Back then, the Democrat, like Henry Perea. Henry Perea, you could work with Perea.
Mm-hmm.
Sal
and his son.
And his son, yeah. Sal Quintero, same thing. You could work with a Sal. It's changing. I'm not saying you can't work with the council, but there's individuals there that you can't. You can't work with them. It's changed, right, Alan?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I don't go back in my day. I draw comparisons only to say, look, structurally and how business was conducted. It was better. I'm making a judgment on it. It was less insanity per square inch.
I bet, yeah.
At City Hall.
I'm sure it was.
Than there is now. I mean, we never had leaks out of closed session. Almost never. It's an oxymoron, but really in 8 years, because you valued the fact that you were talking about a sensitive issue.
Yeah.
And there was things going to be said. You can be free and easy in there and really speak your mind, kind of like the House of Commons over there in Britain, when the Prime Minister has to come on and you can just be yourself. That was closed session, and you didn't have to worry about it being leaked to social media because social media was just starting out back then. But this here, I sadly think something like this had to happen, not necessarily to Nelson, but something had to be done because, without knowing with absolute certainty, you can safely say where there's a whole lot of smoke, there's at least a little bit of fire.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's been a whole lot of just smoke of the laws being broken, very serious misuses of power, almost back to the Operation Rezone here in Fresno. It's a stain on our history where several councilmen from Fresno City Council and Clovis City Council went to prison because they were basically paying people off on city council. They were taking bribes, and it was, FBI. It's not me saying that. The FBI came in and did investigation. People went to prison. People said, Alan, you said that. I said, that's not me saying that. The FBI said that, and that was right before I came in. So I think there was a concerted effort there to bring truth and dignity and hopefully build some trust back at City Hall. And I've seen that totally deteriorate here over the course of, since I left 2008. And that's not tooting my horn. It's just there's no respect for decorum. There's no respect for tradition. There's no respect for doing the business of the people first.
There's no respect for each other.
Not your political.
Yeah.
Everything has this political poison from the national level has drifted down. The secondhand smoke of that stuff at the national level has gone down to the local level, and everybody's high on it.
It is. And you know what's sad is this isn't Fresno.
No.
This is not representative of Fresno. We got hardworking people here. You know that. We got hardworking people here, people that go to work. I mean, this is such a great community, and the people inside City Hall don't represent the individuals here because we want to see our elected leaders work hard.
Well, here's a clarion call to those who look to break the law as a public servant, because there's an amount of trust that's given when you take that oath of office, especially to city councils, mayors, sheriffs. On that, we were known as the Wild Wild West out here in Fresno. We had corruption. We have a history of that. We do, but we also have a history of cleaning it up.
Very true. If we want
we
to.
weren't, and we have so far in our history. Every city is going to have a certain amount of corruption. The question is, do you have the moral strength? Do you have enough of a covenant that you value to the people? You're saying we're going to clean this up, and that goes all the way down to DAs, because in every city we're seeing it. Alvin Bragg in New York tied into the politics. You go to in San Francisco, tied into politics. Jethro
Boudin.
Jethro, don't call me Jethro Boudin. And Gascon's gonna, he's toast back there. But we do have a history, as Rezone has proven. You go back even further when law enforcement was infiltrated with some not too savory characters. We cleaned it up. Chicago had, New York, Giuliani.
Yeah.
Giuliani during his years, to give him credit.
My good friend now.
Yes, I tell you. He's good. I love his show.
Oh, he's great.
By the way. But anyway, we didn't expect to lead with that story.
One last thing on that.
Yes, and we'll be following it.
Yeah,
I know you will.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
DA, she's been DA Lisa Schmidt-Camp has been very, very fair. Because like you said, there's been tons of stuff that, we know behind the scenes, like, wait a minute, this seems... And the DA's office has been real slow to not necessarily charge. So for her to charge...
Exactly. What DA who loves their community, and all DAs should,
Yeah, agreed.
And this DA really does.
She does.
You know, she comes from a great family. She loves Fresno.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing they would want to do is indict a mayor or a councilman or a supervisor or a school board member.
Mm-hmm.
So that does, you know, we're kind of trying to start trying this case. We don't mean to, but I think our audience deserves, at least from our point of view, people that tune in, our analysis, at least at this point, on this issue. And you, as you kind of put yourself down, denigrate, the media. Thank God for the media that's honest, old school media. The old saying, truth to power, that used to be there, that's not there anymore at all. Basically, there's just a few outlets that still believe in that motto. You're doing your job as a media.
Yeah.
Mine is to sit here, this hour of my life, and to truthfully give an analysis. And I think I'm with you. I think this is serious stuff. And for her, Lisa Smitkamp, our DA, to go forward with this, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. That's not good news when she has her sights.
Yeah.
And I'm. So we're going to follow this.
Yeah.
We're going to follow. So, all right. Gosh, we got time. Let's take a quick break. And that's a big story.
Yeah.
We hadn't planned on leaving. Broke just moments before we went on the air. But when we come back, would a 78-year-old Donald Trump, if he ran in 2024,
America!
Would that be the wise thing for him to do? And would it be a good thing for America? We've been like starving dogs at a meat house on this. Everybody's on it.
Quick. Here's my issue, though. My last point. When
issue? What's issue? Issue.
My issue.
Issue. You ever those people who pronounce it like that? Issue. I have certain issues.
Who pronounces it like that?
Oh, yeah, I just watch enough YouTube. The very smart ones that graduate from Columbia, Harvard, Brown University.
Oh, those.
There's certain issues.
Like sexual harassment?
Harassment.
It's harassment. I've never. What's harassment?
Harassment. Exactly.
Sexual harassment.
Yeah. Yes. What is your issue?
Oh, yeah. My issue is so when they charged Dr. Joaquin Arambula with, remember that whole thing?
Gosh, yeah.
He won. So we got to be, you're right. And especially people in my biz, we really got to be careful, piling on Nelson, because it still has to play out. Joaquin beat that. I mean, he beat the DA essentially. So, the left right now is going to say this is all politically motivated. It happened to Joaquin. Doing it to him now.
Well, again, just coming from an analytical
we're just analyzing
standpoint,
it, yeah.
Not any kind of, because I can promise you that. I could divorce my political beliefs. I mean,
I'm never divorcing my political. We're in it forever until we death do us
permanently
part.
Divorced. Just I could step out of them and speak.
I'm not cheating on my political views, Alan. I'm going out with the left.
I'm gonna divorce you. With the like I said, the constant drip of behaviors in this direction. I think cumulatively, it still wasn't enough for the DA. Even though you're saying, "Oh my God, here's another charge. Here's another thing. Gosh, it must be something going on there." But I knew when it was said, when Sloan said that, I don't know if she had a choice not to. No.
1 minute?
I mean, if he says he's flat out refutes and says this was said, he threatened me with my job, clearly that you report to us, and if you don't, you're done. And it was not words that you can mince or any really gray area in that statement, according to what I saw in the paper, your beloved Fresno Bee. So, you're sitting there, but I said, if that is in fact true and the DA hears that, I mean, that's told to the DA. I don't.
What do you think you should do? Step aside?
30 seconds?
Not resign, but maybe step aside?
It depends on in his heart whether he did say that.
Change the balance.
It's an uphill road for him, Because if Sloan's going to stand by his story, so you know he's not going to go back on the story.
He just won.
Yeah. Well, so did Richard Nixon.
10 seconds?
Yeah. Watergate happened right after he won. He was popular, 60-something% approval rate.
Still hasn't seen those numbers since.
Your president is not a crook. Let me say this about that. Sock it to me.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXAX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Welcome back to the Tricky Dicky Show. Your president's not a crook. Your councilman is not a crook. I'm telling you.
Did you ever meet him?
Who's that?
Nixon.
Nixon? No. How old do you think I am?
Well, I don't know.
I was a young guy in college when Nixon
my bad.
was president.
You know,
I could go to Vietnam, but I couldn't waltz into the White House. Now, if you tell me that I meet Franklin Delano Roosevelt, I'm coming across this table. I still got one hip. I'll put you in a one-arm thing until you can pry it off and beat the crap out of me with your youth and good looks and great hair. Okay, we're going to do this question. But first, it's sad. I don't want to be joyful about this because people lost their lives, for goodness sake. So please hear me out on this. And I would have picked any other way for common sense to be displayed to the country and the world other than this incident. But in Indiana, at the mall, you saw there was another mass shooting. 3 people shot dead in a mall. And this guy had a long rifle, typical of these folks that go off the edge and start shooting. Apparently, from our early reports, and we want to make sure we emphasize early reports, that he was unloading quick and fast. The first death happened almost immediately in the first few seconds. And then something happened. What we've heard, young people with guns has not been too good news lately. Young 18-year-olds with guns that are imbalanced go out and do dastardly things. Another young man, same type of thing, taking innocent life. But we have a young 22-year-old who happened to be carrying his concealed weapon and legally, lawfully, according to police chief, said this young man lawfully had a concealed weapon, drew that weapon and took the killer down before he could kill anybody else. Now, do we know for sure how many more that person would have killed? Well, common sense would tell us a lot more.
Yeah, agreed.
You're unloading that fast. And here's a story that you don't see the mainstream media reporting at all. Because here's a classic example where good people that carry guns should not be feared, should be encouraged, because we're living in a crazy, crazy world. Not just here. They just had a mass shooting over in Finland and Norway. Starting to happen all over the place.
Prime Minister Abe being assassinated,
yes. So what do you think? I was thinking, again, you wouldn't pick this type of illustration because there was loss of life. But you look at it and you look at the woke left and go, see, this is what we mean. These are the instances we're talking about in your defund the police world. What did you want to do? Bring your social worker there to talk the guy out of it with the long rifle? You'd rather have them? Maybe there were social workers there. Why didn't they stand up immediately and start rationalizing with him, talking about his childhood and the tough abuse he was? No, he had to be stopped. And he was stopped by a brave young man who didn't run, who stood up and saved lives. And this is not going to be a one-off.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's your classic. Unfortunately, your classic. I hate to use classic, but it's good guy with a gun takes out bad guy with a gun. And
absolutely.
That never gets headlines because
simple equation.
It doesn't fit the narrative because the media wants you to believe everybody that owns a gun is a bad guy. There are no good guys that own guns. There are only bad guys. That's the narrative they want to sell. So, of course, this got pushed way down. And it also got pushed way down also. And this might have been, just untimely, but we started to hear reports out of Uvalde and just the disaster. You had 400 trained, and I didn't know there was that many involved. 400 trained law enforcement officers that not one of them stood up and did the right thing. And here you have just
a 22-year-old
millennial.
Now, Generation Z.
Generation who knows right and wrong. This is my problem. You know, we train the heck.
It gets goosebumps. I just gave me goosebumps.
Right?
There.
I mean, this,
it really did.
This kid knew what to do. It is so just disheartening that we've trained officers, and you know I'm pro law enforcement. You're pro law enforcement.
Absolutely.
But this breaks my heart because not one. Statistically, how does that even happen? 400. They even stop parents from going inside the school.
You know, you said he knew what the right thing to do. And I think those officers knew. They didn't have the courage to act. We all know the right thing to do most of the time. It's, do you have the courage to act on that thought? Knowing and taking action are two different things. That's why this young man is so unique and should be celebrated. He's got to live with the fact he took a life. It's not going to be easy.
That's not easy either. Yeah, of course.
It's not easy at all. But you know, to be able at 22 to lawfully have that gun, carrying it lawfully as the police chief, I can almost guarantee without knowing, I would make a spot. I bet a Chipotle lunch on it with you. In fact, this kid was raised in a good home.
Yep.
He was raised with a servant's heart. He was raised that when you see people in trouble, you help them. That was the spirit he was raised in at home. I may be totally wrong on that, but this, again, things happen for a reason. And I think there's, not getting too deep in the spiritual world, but I do believe this happened as a wake-up call to this country. And to, you know, this whole thing about police protection with the Uvalde thing, to a certain degree, I'm going to get in trouble here, but please hear my words out. Please don't add to the story here. We have Fresno police officers went right in. They would go right in there. I know them. Most officers around the country would have gone in and stormed the room, did their best to take the guy out. But there's a little bit of reluctance, even in our best troops out there. There's a little bit because defund the police. If they go do this and they mess up, they're going to get, they're going to get arrested. They're going to lose their job, their reputation. All of this is going through the mind rather than acting on doing the right thing. And as regards, so kudos to this young man.
Yeah.
We pray that he's able to, for number one, thank you. And I know the families, the other people who are there are thanking him as well that were in there at that mall. But also pray that his, that he gets the right help to get through this, because it's you talk to any officer that's had to take a life. And even when they had no other choice to save another life, even soldiers that have been out fighting in wars that had to shoot, World War II had to shoot Nazis. They still had to take a human life, and that they had to carry that forever.
I know a high profile case where the officer was the one that had to shoot, and a high profile case settled. This officer was never the same.
Yeah.
Never the same.
Well, you have a situation too where Tom Novell, years ago, football player for the Green Bay Packers. He went off rails. He had a lot of issues. Huge guy, but wound up breaking out of the behavioral health center and holding up in a apartment complex. And the SWAT team was called out, and like 4 or 5 guys on the SWAT team he was very close to. One of them was one of his best friends. Yet he came out, grabbed a fire poker, went after him, and they had to kill him. And that was a horrible toll on them. To this day, tough dealing with that. But they had no choice. Guy was had lost his mind. But anyway, just this is what we're talking about. This is, thank God he had that gun. He was not disarmed. We didn't let this. And may it speak to all of us here when we get these so-called gun laws and refine them. And I'm all for keeping the guns out of hands of young people or anybody that's in balance. But along the way, do not take them out of the hands of good law-abiding citizens, because you will cause death. If he didn't have that gun, it's a simple question. He would have killed more. It's not political trigonometry. It's simple math. Very easy. That would have happened. So you have one case in point where lives were saved because a guy had a right to carry a gun concealed.
Amen.
Yeah. All right.
Amen.
All right. Let's go to Donald Trump. We don't have to take a break. Okay. Tell me, oh wise and wondrous one. O ye of Trumpian delight. O one who looks forward to 2024 with bated breath, of which I don't know what bated is, which I never have, but I just say it anyway. With patience, with anticipation. You can't wait. You are like you're like Elon Musk ready to go to Mars.
Yes.
For him to run again in 2024. Tell me, encapsulate why you think Donald Trump, who will be 78 at the time, I just want to toss that on the table as a talking point, is the one and only candidate that can make America great again. What's he? Make America great after it got screwed up again, great again.
I think
that doesn't kind of flow, does it?
I think it's Save America now. I think that's going to be the Save America.
All right, give me your case, which many shows will follow between now and 2024.
Too many.
Yeah, with you and
Too many.
Squaring off. Go ahead.
Simple. I'm tired of losing, and I'm tired of the American people losing, and I'm just tired of people losing their money, Alan. This comes down to just us not winning. And you might, okay, Guillermo, you're using the Trumpian, you're just not winning anymore. But sometimes it's about success. And Americans are not succeeding right now because of the man that's in office. Now, why do I say Trump is the only one that can lead us to success and not a Ron DeSantis or a Mike Pompeo, right? Okay. Or who else is a Nikki Haley? And you know the batch already that's starting to form. Because they don't have the requisite experience on day one. There has to be some type of deference that is given to a former sitting U.S. president. And I'm not saying, okay, well, then if, let's get a one-termer back. Let's just say if, H.W., God rest his soul, was alive. Well, he has that deference. No, Trump had Xi Jinping's back against the wall. Putin he wanted to invade, but he was kept at bay. Right? Iran, their back was against the wall. This is the only man, he speaks to world dictators very well.
So you're saying the only one who could stop China?
Yeah.
China.
Oh, yeah.
It's from China.
Yeah.
The China virus.
Now,
hey, I'm not making fun of Trump. I like a lot of Trump's policies. I've always said this. Yeah. And one of these days, I want to talk about my 9 months, nearly a year, working with Trump.
You can't.
We're
going to do a podcast.
Okay.
It's going to be... Because I think people need this.
It's explosive. The story's explosive.
You got to do a full length podcast.
All the characters there. Michael Cohen, Ivanka Trump.
Yes, you have
worked
to.
with them all. Donald Trump.
And I'm going to do the Donald Trump reenactment. We're going to do reenactments.
Okay,
too.
So you're saying that you're tired of losing, and so he's the one that's going to. Okay.
Now, is there going to be a train wreck on the way or two? You bet you. There's going to be off the rails. There's going to.
How bad of a train wreck?
Oh man, I mean,
does the GOP survive the train wreck?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Too big to fail. You could take it to the bank.
Trump is too big.
Come on, Alan. I'm just giving them to you. Get ready to line these up.
I could say too orange to fail, but I don't know, too big to fail. I like orange. Listen, don't get me wrong. I just, where I'm going on this thing. Well, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
Do you like Ron DeSantis?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of him and Trump's policies, the border, low taxation, law and order guy. Even Trump said, I like DeSantis.
Yeah.
DeSantis sounds like Trump. And like this Glenn Youngkin seems to be very dynamic down in Virginia, right?
Yeah, he's in the Pence category for me.
Well, what? He hasn't even served. How's he Pence?
Well, they give you
don't want to hang him, do you?
No. I like the guy.
You're going to drive the Oath Keepers down there, send them down to Virginia.
Listen,
Come on. What?
I like the guy, but he's two 90s.
Boy, he had two 90s.
There's a certain establishment wing of the Republican Party, and he fits it. They're establishment. They're not. They're not new age, rough and tough.
How do you know? Give him a chance. Okay.
I don't know, the sweater vest. I don't know, whatever he wears.
So, okay, let's put Youngkin in there as a possibility. Okay, so you got DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you had a football team that you were going to build to last right now, you're starting. when you had a choice of quarterbacks between Tom Brady, 45, 46 freaking years old, good quarterback, and Pat Mahomes, who's won a Super Bowl, got a lot of years ahead of him.
Yeah.
Young. Which one would you pick?
I'd pick both. I'd start.
No,
No, you didn't.
Hard
choices. That wasn't the question. Who would I pick?
All right.
I would start Trump, and I'd have a backup quarterback would be
I walked
Mahomes.
right into that.
You did.
I didn't cut off the escape routes because he's told me this off show here in private conversation. That would be his plan, and it's actually a pretty good one.
It really is.
Okay. All right. Here's why I don't think. Just a case in point.
All right.
Because I said, I remember we were talking the other day when y'all couldn't hear that I want to see some improvement in his behavior. You can stay the rough and tumble tough guy. The thing, though, I come from the old school. John Wayne never had to say he was tough. He just showed his toughness.
Agreed.
He let other people say how tough he is. All right, really smart people like Albert Einstein never talked about how smart he was. He even said, hey, I'm smart enough to know I don't know much. But everybody else, a genius. Ronald Reagan didn't go around talking about how tough he was. He was I think one of the toughest presidents we've ever had. But he didn't walk around going, I'm one tough SOB. Don't mess with me. I'm going to, no. He didn't. He let his actions speak. He had diplomacy. He was a statesman. And it made us feel good to have that statesman. He didn't pass, evil for evil. Now, I will give Trump credit, big credit, for taking on the media. Because you had to have somebody as mean, as bulldogish, as crude as they were to knock that system down. They had never faced something like that. I watched them intimidate George W. Bush into the White House, West Wing, and never come out. And call him a baby killer for going into Iraq, a lot of stuff. But I wanted, especially the Twitter world. People are tired of the president, these Twitter wars. That was part of the reason Biden got elected. He got a lot of Republican, especially Republican women in the suburbs that said, I just want a timeout. Joe Biden's middle of the road, they thought. He's not a far-left wacko, what he was, but he did a good job of covering it up for a while, unless you look in further, and it was very clear who he was. He's not a reluctant participant in this woke craziness. Yeah. He's a very willing participant, hasn't he? But I'm in my machine here, and I just want to, where is it here? Oh, here. And here's the latest tweet that Trump put out to Elon Musk. Okay? Elon Musk did
Well, I think it was his Truth Social because he's not on Twitter.
It's on Truth. It's on
Okay.
Truth through Social, which is an interesting name. But anyway, Musk said something that got under Trump's stuff and irritated his rear end because people have been kissing it so much in the Republican Party. It's a big rash back there. Anyway, Musk got there and irritated him a little bit, and he texted something back to Musk on Truth Social, and then Musk just said, you might just want to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Well, all right, here it comes, right off in the sunset. Here is the former President Donald Trump's response to Elon Musk. Somebody you're going to need. It's nice to have Elon Musk coming up in the midterms in 2024. Former Democrat, far left, now coming over, showing some understanding of conservative principles and willing to take the heat for it. Okay? So here's his response to right off in the sunset. Quote, when Elon Musk came to the White House asking for help on all of his many subsidized projects, whether it's electric cars that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere, without which subsidies he'd be worthless, and telling me how he was a big Trump fan and Republican, I could have said drop to your knees and beg, and he would have done it.
Come on, no, you missed the guy. You got to admit,
no,
you missed the guy. Oh, come on,
From that perspective, private citizen, yes, not from the president's office. I don't want him up at 12:30 in the West Wing when we got a war raging in Ukraine. You got everything going on. Inflation skyrocketed. He could not help himself. He will pick tweet over disaster anytime. He just will.
No.
And then what he'll say? Well, I can talk and chew gum at the same time. He sends this off to Musk, and that's what people are tired of. That's what I'm tired of. Learn something. You can send something back, friendly disagreements. You need him. You want him. Musk didn't say anything that warranted this kind of response.
Yeah.
Know a value for value. If somebody comes up behind you and flicks your ear, ow, that hurt. Flicks your ear. Flicks your ear. You don't come around and hit him in the head with a Louisville Slugger. We say, well, that's the way we do it in New York when I'm in Queens. You hit me. You hit me. No, we want to show a little restraint.
No.
A little restraint. It gets old. Let me tell you, I'll stand here as sure as I'm sitting here. I believe it's all my heart. Trump was one of the most consequential presidents we've ever had. And my wife will tell you this too. I'm ticked off at him. You know why? Because he lost that elections as much as anybody.
Yeah. I have to agree.
You lost that election with your freaking mouth. You had opportunity after opportunity to show some statesmanship that your supporters, many of your supporters, were yearning for, thirsting for. It was there for you on a silver platter. You blew it away and gave some nonsensical, stupid-ass tweet.
Yeah.
And here shows me he hasn't learned anything.
What?
You know what he's got? It's his crazy tweets on steroids. He's got his own platform now.
Alex,
he's got his own freaking platform now. Oh my gosh! There's another tweet from him.
I'm okay with what he does. Because listen, and I've said this many times. We didn't elect a pastor.
But when you got DeSantis, who's going to have the same policies, my glasses down. When you got somebody like DeSantis, you got somebody like Youngkin, which I take issue with you that he's an establishment guy. Let it play out. You may be right. I'm going to hold that in the side. You could be right.
Hey, he has a dinner with Mike Pence.
But
I'm
out. Anyway,
I'm okay
if we had nobody else, then I would say, all right, I'm ready to go to tweet hell for 4 years. See, that's what it is. You go to hell and you have an endless amount of
they're
Trump
not going to let him back
coming
in
at you for eternity.
Yeah, no. So
that's hell.
I'm going to say no. I disagree because, again, we're not electing America's pastor. And let me give you a football analogy. You're the QB, right? You're the QB, and you have Marshawn Lynch was like the worst, right? Marshawn Lynch,
running back. He was a great running back.
Well, no, but I think with all the,
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Okay, maybe it's someone else. I don't know, but you have a player who you just don't want to deal with, and I'm sure in the NFL this happens quite a bit. He's just so much drama on field, off the field.
Yes.
But man, as soon as the game starts on that any given Sunday, and you're passing the football, he's going to catch it. So would you say, you know what? No, I'm good. Which some NFL teams have done, like Colin Kaepernick. It's just too much. But you could win. You can go to the Super Bowl, and you can win and deliver for your fans, for America. I don't know. I'm bringing that in America.
Go ahead.
For the world.
Baton. Triple G. Because I have an answer for your question.
Universe.
For your hypothetical sports analogy.
All right.
You're stepping into my wheelhouse now.
All right.
So let me school you.
You wouldn't take him.
Let me school you.
You wouldn't take that player.
And I would look for the first opportunity to replace him with somebody just as good. Yes, that scenario that you just said has played out, and you see that big mouth really affects the locker room. Now, they put up with him, but they're looking on draft day or they're looking to trade for somebody who's just as good that doesn't have that baggage and doesn't have that kind of craziness about them. They're looking 24/7 going, where can we fill this? And they cut him quicker than you can say.
Trump would be good in the locker room.
Manchin can say no to Joe Biden on Build Back Better. They're out of there. So, yes, if we didn't have anybody, but we have, he's the wide receiver or he's the quarterback. Yeah. You know what? It's suddenly Joe Montana goes crazy. Well, we got Steve Young now. Ron DeSantis Young. Steve Young. You cut him. You say thank you. And then what you do? Why don't you come onto the organization and be a consultant? Why don't we make you general manager? Trump, there's a great role for Trump. He can be more powerful staying on the sidelines and criticizing everybody. Nobody wants to get a hot tweet from Trump.
All right, I got
up
one
your
for you.
butt.
I got one for you.
So you can be,
or you become a dynasty. Or you become a dynasty and you win the 4 years, and then you just keep winning after that. 8 with DeSantis, 4 with Trump, 8 with DeSantis.
I will go on record here, and we'll dig it up in 2024. I hate saying this, but I think because a lot can happen.
Oh,
You
yeah.
denigrate to all the way to the point where it's just, hey, we'll take anybody. You know, that's the way it was with Nixon with Watergate. Next Democrat was going to win, no matter who it was. And same way with Carter. You know, it was just things were so bad, whoever came in was. But I believe, all things being equal, if Trump is the candidate, they will lose the presidency. The
Really?
GOP will lose the presidency. Yeah.
Even if it's a Joe Biden.
I don't think he'll get enough of. Well, a lot would depend on the Democratic ticket that they put up there, but I do think that. I think people are worn freaking out. Now, again, if he was the only one speaking some common sense. See, it's common sense wrapped in like dysfunctional insanity type stuff. It's filtered through. That common sense comes through, and it's people just get worn down by it. They want their president to be just a little bit restrained. Don't be like everybody else. Don't be. They say, well, it's a Twitter world. Yeah, but we don't want somebody just like us. I don't want a president like me.
Why not? I think that'd be great.
No.
You're a good guy.
No, me. I want to speak out. I want to read, and nobody's going to stop me. From speaking out as long as we're a free country. Now, I did that as a mayor, but I don't want to do that. You have to sacrifice. Reagan knew that. Reagan was fabulous. John Kennedy was fabulous at that. And I hate to say it's going to take some people off. Bill Clinton was like that.
Yeah.
You've got to have. I think the country is just, and I tell you, I'll go as far as to say the rest of the world is. Western Europe and around the world are just thirsting for good, solid, strong, common sense leadership without all the drama, without all the, he likes to read his tweets too much. And again, I like his policies on the border, taxation, taking on the media, agree with him on all of those. But in the soundbite world, if you lifted something off of the show, people that wanted to get at me, and get me ruined with the GOP or whatever, which I really don't care. At this point in my life, I mean, that's not high on my list.
Very true.
It's my next bowel movement is high on my list than that. When I make sure I don't miss my Metamucil.
You don't think he deserved deference? I mean, he's a former sitting president. Like he's not just a regular Joe Schmo.
No, I don't believe in entitlement, whether it's social programs or in politics.
All right,
we
great
don't
answer.
owe you anything.
Great answer.
You're only as good as your last decision. We don't. Oh, that just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You went after me. Well, you got to keep making good, strong decisions. Willing to take the fire. Willing to show some restraint, strong leadership. Be tough when you have to, tender when you should be. Bring the country together as a uniter. Neither one of those presidents have that quality.
But you said,
Biden is a divider.
Yeah.
Trump's a divider.
But you said he hasn't learned. He's been off of Twitter. He just started the Truth Social thing. He's been relatively absent. I mean, you know him.
What do you think about that tweet I just said?
It's
with Musk. Tell you. You want me to send that to you?
No,
have you read it?
I've read it.
You read it. What did you?
Yeah.
Did you think to yourself, that's a little bit too much?
Well,
come on. The guy just said walk, right off into the sunset. And he comes back with.
Well, Elon Musk started it,
and we're gonna get. Oh, you. Yeah, we were talking about before the show came on. What's going to be his motto? So he made America great again.
Yeah.
Trump. Okay, for his 4 years. America went all to hell. So you don't want to go make America great again because it's already been done. What do you do? Make America great again after it went to hell? Make it great again? I mean, they're going to have to.
Save America's, I think.
You came up with Save America.
I know. He came. It was in one of the 30 emails that he's emailed me saying, Guillermo.
I just think if he put up there, Biden sucks. Just put it on hats. That's all you need to do, man.
Don't give him any ideas, Alan. I'm sure he'll.
Or did you miss me?
Well, you mentioned a good point here because who's this election going to turn on? It ain't going to turn on people like me because we're going to vote for R no matter what. It's not going to turn on the left because they're going to vote for it. It's going to be, like you said, that suburban mom, individuals like you that are right in the middle, the minorities who have been affected disastrously by him. So I think, however, this is different because I think he will win because now you have all those people in the middle they know, okay, I know how it was under this guy, and I know how much it is under this guy.
Like I said, the conditions.
I'm going over here.
I didn't mean to interrupt. But I just want to second what you said there. It could be that, again, it will depend on the conditions in 2020. It may be so miserable. They said, hey, we can't stay where we are. We can't keep this type of nonsense in office anymore. We destroyed the country. The world's in the verge of nuclear war. If we haven't had nuclear war by then. So whatever the GOP puts up, we're going to vote for. Hey, I just looked at the screen here. We're
tons of calls.
Oh, man, Sue, let's go to Sue. I'm sorry, callers. I just looked up and saw you. I was mesmerized by Guillermo's defense of Donald Trump. Let's go to Sue because she's been on there the longest. Sue, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, I'm sorry to make you wait there. I just looked up. I was in there having this discussion with Guillermo on Trump there. You said you have a question with the guy with the gun? About the gun?
Yeah, I was wondering, and just curiosity. Okay, he went to the driving range and everything. I mean, he really took it serious. His gun ownership and his shooting and everything. But what would you do if you're in the crossfire and you get killed by the good guy?
You know, Sue, I have thought.
What do you think the law would do?
Well, I understand what you're saying, and that has been something I've thought about. But I think in a very imperfect, at best, situation of that happens, the uncontrollable things that happen when an active shooter decides they're going to do their thing. There's all sorts of scenarios, and there's certain chances and risks that you have to take. And I would rather, if I was, because I've thought about that, if I was in a movie theater and somebody got up with a gun and started shooting, I would rather take my chances hoping somebody else had a gun there to take him down. If I got shot in the crossfire, I really believe I would understand, because I'm not, because when somebody starts shooting, you have to assume they're going to keep shooting, and you're not going to be able to get the cops, because in truth, the first responder in a violent act is you. If a guy comes at you with a knife, you have to protect yourself. Pick up something, run, whatever. You are the real, true first responder. It's not the police. It's not law enforcement. And so that's why, as these things continue to increase, where people gather, if you choose to go where people gather, a mall, a concert, wherever, there's people, an athletic event, there's going to always be this possibility. And it would not bother me at all, because I know so many people that carry guns that I wouldn't feel, fearful about it. And if something happened, I would trust their ability to use it properly. But you bring up a point, a good point of discussion.
I don't remember, Sue. I don't remember.
It wouldn't.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it would never happen before.
Exactly.
The family is whoever killed you. Your family's going to want justice. Mm. And I agree with you. I think that the good guy should maybe get off, because.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
But here in Texas, we get a lot of people that aren't good guys. They just carry the gun because Governor Abbott said they can. And you start opening fire in a crowded mall, much less a food court.
Well, I don't think we've had that incident happen yet. When it does happen.
No, we haven't.
And when it does, then the national discussion would be, hey, is it safer for people to be unarmed while the criminals and the people that are imbalanced can get arms, because they're going to get them one way or the other. And I think the best odds are having an armed, law-abiding population. I think that's our best chance.
I think Sue brings up a great point, and I think my answer to this would be, it depends. Let it play out on the courts. I don't think they should get let's just say, thank God it hasn't happened, but let's say in that food court, an innocent child got hit and died, and then he went off and killed the gunman. I don't think he should get off for the killing of the child. I think it should play out in the courts, and they should say, "Hey, listen, what happened? I mean, did the child run at the last second, and did he kind of interject the bullet,
Right.
or was he just such a bad shot? I mean, he knew he wasn't that great of a shot, so why was he the hero? There might have been another hero." Right. So I think you got to let it play out, because innocent bystanders get shot all the time. Normally it's the bad guy situation.
All
but
I know is this 22-year-old. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. No, I know. But in
this 22-year-old young man, this young hero, had enough courage and preferred the life of others over himself. And I'm sure he's thought about all those things. At one time or another, if, scenarios in his head, if this happened, knowing if I pull that gun, I may be in court, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he still did it. God bless him.
Yeah, agreed.
Because there's people in that
I'm
courtroom.
not criticizing. I'm just wondering how it would play out.
Like, I don't think he should be charged at all, either more than any more than the bodega man, Alba, Jose Alba in New York. Shouldn't even be charged.
Yeah.
Something like this.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to let you go.
Okay, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Time, but one good thing. Sorry, Guillermo, but Trump beat Trump in 20. Trump's going to beat Trump in 24.
Who's going to beat him?
Trump.
Who's going to beat Trump?
Trump beat Trump. Trump has no one to blame but himself.
There you go.
No,
all right, thank you, Sue. All right, man. We got to do a little poll. I smell a poll coming down there.
You know it.
Other callers, thank you for calling. Sorry, too late up there. Just got the too strong of a debate with me and Guillermo. Too focused. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. God bless America. Just do your best. Let God do the rest. And we'll see you tomorrow on Taco Tuesday. Not Breakfast Taco Tuesday.
Who cares about the clouds if we're together?